How y'all doing? One of my subscribers left a comment tonight that I was like, I loved. Uh, it was a very nice comment, and he had some video topic suggestions. And this was only like an hour ago, but I don't know why. I just like was. I'm like, how did I not think of that? I really liked the suggestions he gave, so I'm making a video right now. I feel inspired, so thank you for your comment. A couple of them I'm gonna combine because I feel like I can, weave them all together. But a few I'll leave out. I got my vape here. Sorry, it's one of these videos, guys. All right, this is what we're fucking doing tonight. So, Vape Nation, I'll mute my mic when I vape so that I don't blow your eardrums out. But that's what we're doing. So, I wanted to talk about things I don't like about the community, and I try not to be negative these days because I used to be really negative and I just get like stressed out and I don't, but you call a spade, right? I've always thought that way. And fuck what anyone thinks, I really do think that way. Like, it is what it is. And so there are things I don't like about this community. Um, One, let's be honest, a lot of, and this goes with another point I'd like to talk about is the niche thing. Niche fragrances have their place, and I think they're great sometimes. With a lot of reviewers now, a lot of the bigger ones, and we all watch the same reviewers, guys. I'm not going to name names, but we all watch them. They're great reviewers, but it's all niche mostly, and I understand it. They are much more invested in the community than a lot of people are. Some make money from this. I know, right? And they have more money to spend on it. It's just a bigger thing in their life than other people. So they spend more money and they're just much more invested in it. So, yeah, I get it that they have, more niche fragrances in their life. Totally understand that. But it does seem like a bit of niche snob thing going on. And I hate to use that term, like a niche snob. But it does become that way sometimes. With all that being said, why I understand why it can be that way sometimes. I do get the vibe from some reviewers that it's like, ugh, designer, with the exception of a few classic designer fragrances, it's like I get the vibe that they wouldn't even like touch a designer fragrance. I could kind of see where they're coming from, but that I don't know. That's not a huge deal. And I'm definitely being a little bitchy right now, but that does tend to irk me for some reason. Another is that, and these are small, like kind of just complaining kind of things, but I I get like a walking advertisement vibe from some people. Um, my roommates are watching a fucking awesome movie downstairs, so sorry it's a little loud, but um, the the vibe that what you're watching is not really their true opinion. Now, if some fragrance company or whatever reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want to send you some stuff to review," I'm probably gonna say yes. I mean, this is a huge hobby for me, so of course I'm gonna say yes. But I'm gonna be honest. If I don't like it, I don't like it, and they're probably never gonna work with me again. But fuck them. I speak my mind. So if I don't like it, I'm gonna let you know that you really shouldn't go out and buy it. I do get the vibe a lot of the times from some of these videos I see that like they're not really telling the truth, and you can kind of feel that. So I don't like that. The other thing is that people get into these weird fights. Like it doesn't happen on YouTube as much as it does like places like Fragrantica and stuff, message boards and forums. I mean, we know Reddit is a cesspool basically, but people get into fucking arguments over just the most mundane things, and it's like I'm not going to give examples because you've all been on those message boards and you know how people can freak out over like batch variations on Aventus and weird shit like that, or like the sprayer is silver so it's different, and just stuff. And you're like, we all need to take a deep breath, take a step back from this, and we're talking about fucking cologne here. Let's all like chill out a little bit. So sometimes I get the vibe like, guys, we all need to just chill out a little bit. We're talking about fragrances. I know we all really like them more than the average person, but what? Whoa, man. Those are really my only qualms. I generally enjoy this community. I have a good time watching videos, and it makes me happy. This is just something that just really does brighten my day, I have to say. But there are some things that I don't like, and but I stay away from them, you know, and you should too. If there's things you don't like, don't even fuck with that stuff. Sorry, but it's one of those fucking videos, man. Sorry. But that does bring up my next point, which is niche versus designer, and I'll just lay it straight out. It's pretty simple. My thoughts on it. I think that niche fragrances are generally better quality. It's pretty simple. They're more expensive. They tend to have better performance. They have better quality ingredients. They tend to smell better than cheaper fragrances. They're mixed better. There's more work that goes into them. So yeah, I think, and that's not always the case. There are some fragrances that are niche that I think don't really smell that great. But they do tend to be better fragrances, in my opinion. I don't think they're worth the money, though. That's my opinion. I really don't think Aventus is worth the money. You might, and that's fine, and I'm not saying you're stupid for thinking that. That's no power, all the more power to you. But I don't think most designer fragrances niche fragrances are worth the money. I don't think that Aventus is worth the money. One of my favorite fragrances is Oud Wood. I don't think that's worth the money. I pretty much will never buy that. I don't even know if I'll buy decants, because I think the decants are too expensive for how much juice you're getting. That's just my opinion. I know that's not very exciting, but yeah, that's what I feel like. And, you know, the question was like, do I think that going into niche is like a natural evolution of a fragrance reviewer? And despite what I just said, I do kind of think it is in a way, because, you know, as you start to learn more and more and more about these designer fragrances, and you get your nose on like all the big ones, you know, that like all the big ones that everyone's using these days, and you start to really learn about how notes work together to become accords and the whole game and everything behind it, like the business side and all that. I do see how you would start to become interested in niche fragrances. Now, I'm not really. I'm really not, to be honest. You know, I'm a budget fragrance guy. I really like the cheap stuff that smells good. I really like clones. That's just where my interest lies. But I could see how over time you could become more and more interested in the niche side. And I think, to be honest, I probably will. But I don't think I'm going to buy any. That's just how it is. Pretty simple, but and then a little addendum to all of this discussion is some tips for new people getting into the fragrance community or game, really more for youngsters. Now I know I'm like a late bloomer. I didn't really start getting heavily into this until really last year. I didn't really start wearing fragrances until my early 20s. Never really wore them as a teenager, but there are teenagers out there probably who want to get into this, and you know, there are tons of videos on tips for newbies, but here's mine. So I feel like this would be good if you're a youngster out there who wants to try some new fragrances. I was a teenager at one time, so I could have used some advice if I had been wearing cologne. Well, my number one tip would be, this is my number one tip, guys. Do not overdo it, okay? There are a lot of other factors that go into this, but my number one, do not overspray. You will be so embarrassed the first time somebody tells you that you have too much cologne on, or somebody makes a comment like, oh God, who's bathing in cologne? You will be so embarrassed. Do not do that. Don't be that guy. Don't overdo it. So, what I would suggest is to pick a cologne that you think you would be interested in. And I have two right here that I think are really good beginner options, and there's tons of stuff. And my second tip would be, don't go for something expensive for your first fragrance. Don't go buy Aventus for your first fragrance. Even if you think you're going to love it, don't do it. Buy something cheap. There are plenty of fragrances that smell great that are extremely inexpensive that most people could afford. So I have two right here. So we have Cuba Gold. And I know I just got this, but I think it's a great option. And Cool Water. And Cool Water because it has performance issues across the board. But we're not talking about that. We're just talking about the smell and how it would work for a kid. It smells good. It's not my favorite. It doesn't suit me perfectly, but I think for a lot of youngsters it would be great. Wow, I'm saying that word a lot, huh? It's kind of weird. um, it's fresh, it's aquatic, it's manly, it's nice, and it's got a lot of great things to it. It's definitely for men, and it's great in the spring and the summer. It's one where you could just, this could be your only fragrance, and I wouldn't really wear this too much in the colder weather, but you could just get this, and this could be your only one. I mean, sure, there's tons of options out there, but I think, like, of the fragrances I have in my collection, this is one I would suggest. You can get this so cheap, so cheap. So that one, and then Cuba Gold, simply because it is a $5 cologne. It costs $5. You probably have enough change in your couch right now to afford this. This one's more sweet. And it has its issues as well, but for someone just starting out, I would go for this as maybe a second fragrance, or if you're not really into this kind of stuff and you just want something a little sweeter. This is powdery vanilla. This has got some spiciness to it, like cinnamon, nutmeg kind of thing, almonds. This has some lavender in it that makes it a little masculine. This just smells fantastic. So if you want something sweeter, or you think like, hey, I need something like a cuddle up scent. If you're a younger guy, like you're a teenager or something, you got a sweetheart, this is like an ultimate cuddle scent in my opinion. Like, you spray some of this on your neck or your shirt, your girlfriend's gonna want to cuddle up to you when you're Netflix and chill, buddy. Seriously though, no, this is what it would be great for. So these are two great options for kids, or really for anyone. So don't overspray. Really do not overspray. And don't go crazy and buy something expensive. And don't go and buy a lot of fragrances, because, as I had said, one of my favorite guys in the game, Joy Amin, recently said, and I don't want to put him on blast or anything. I'm not doing that. I don't want to like talk about his personal shit, even though he did put it out there for everyone to see. But he was saying he's like getting carried away. And he's like gonna settle back, and that's a great point. I'm glad that he put that out there for everyone to see and expressed his feelings, because fragrances can be addicting. I'm not saying he's addicted. His words are his words, but it's a good point. They can become addictive. It might not seem like it. It seems silly, right? Fragrance is addicting. Give me a break, but they can be. They really can be. You say, oh, I need a summer fragrance and a winter fragrance and a date fragrance and this and that, and backups, and then it snowballs and you get crazy and you start buying a lot. So take it easy. Don't buy a lot of fragrances. Buy like one or two, maybe cheap ones, and then test them on your wrist. Don't always test on your skin. Your chemistry is going to be different than anyone else's, and see if you like it. Just do one spray on your wrist, and then if you like it, do like 2 sprays. And really test 2 sprays. I do the neck area, back and front. Experiment with your pulse points, and if you think it's not really that strong, maybe do with the 3 sprays. But if you'll figure it out. You'll come to learn, and you go watch YouTube videos. Go watch reviewers. There's great reviewers, and they all have great points. They all have different opinions, which is nice. You get everyone's perspective, and you will start to learn a lot, which is what I did. I started to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I learned a lot about everything, and so I suggest you do that. Other basic tips that are just like commonplace things: put your fragrances on after a shower, dry off. Your skin will be moist. It'll be better. Put some lotion on maybe where you're gonna spray. You don't have to do that, but it'll help with performance and everything. Use unscented body wash or soap. I know that's not like exciting. A lot of dudes use like scented body wash, but I wouldn't suggest that. It really will clash with the scent. So use unscented. Just basic things, but tips I think that would work. Don't go crazy. Really don't go crazy. That's a big one. Just take it easy. I know it can be like really exciting at first, but it's a good point to make. Like, you can become overwhelmed with things, and it will like catch up with you fast in terms of money and buying things, and even putting out videos. Like, you'll start to get it'll get nuts. Don't overspray and nuclear blast everyone in the room. That's my biggest tip again. And just immerse yourself, and don't if someone's saying something you don't like, and this is a tip for everybody watching right now, if someone's saying something you don't like, then you don't have to agree with them. I think a lot of people are like get sucked into the personality of some of these reviewers. I know I'm a reviewer and I'm saying this. I'm not saying I'm like hot shit or anything, but I do see a lot of people that can like get sucked into it and they're like, well, yeah, whatever. I don't agree with that, but he said it, so I kind of guess I have to agree with it. Don't worry about that shit. Just do what you want to do. Agree with what you want to agree with. You know, someone says something you don't like, maybe you stop watching them. Maybe you just don't agree with them for that point. Go watch someone else. Someone will have a different opinion, stuff like that. So, simple things. All good points. Thank you for that comment, sir. I thought that was some great points. Sorry, this is really long, but I just want to talk about it. The next topic was about like fragrances that are good with me as a musician, that make me think about like bring memories about and things like that. And I think that was a great topic because there are scents, as a musician, as a guitar player, there are scents that do something in my brain. I mean, we all know that scents do that. They evoke memories and feelings, but there are some that certainly do with music. So I'll talk about those. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this. I love doing these little topic videos. Have a good night.